Hello all and welcome back to another video. I hope you're well. So in today's video I want to talk to you about this tripod right here. Now I can't pronounce the name, so I'm going to spell it out down below and also put it in the title as well with the actual model of this tripod. Now I should mention I'm not sponsored or affiliated with this company, and the company that I'm going to mention where I got this tripod from in any form whatsoever at the making of this video. So the place where I got this tripod from was Wex Photographic here in England. Now the reason why I mention that is it's the only place I can seem to find this damn thing. I can't find it on B&H of all places, which seems to stock every single little bit of photographic equipment in the entire world there, but I can't find this one there. I can't find a social media account for this tripod, which is rather weird. So I think it's just a very small company, but I think it deserves a lot more praise than it's currently got. So this tripod retails for £109, which I reckon is a bargain. I reckon it could easily go for twice its price. It's just an outstanding tripod for the price. Now, I'm not just saying that. Maybe you might be thinking, well, this guy's only got this tripod. This is the best tripod he's ever had. No, that's not true. I've got a tripod as well, which is about 10 times the price of this, I think, or maybe 15 times the price of this. And there's features on this that tripod has, and there's features on this that tripod doesn't have. Sure, it can hold a heck of a lot more weight. It can hold about 60 kilos, 70 kilos. This thing is rated for, I think, about 15 kilos, though I suspect it could do about 20 kilos very easily because it's just so well built and so strong. Now, so the first thing that I really like about this tripod is that it's got an incorporated monopod. So once I unscrew this, now there is an attachment that comes with it, because I found out when I was doing this before, I found out that my thread that goes in here isn't compatible with this, which is a bit odd, and I don't know why they've done that. So it comes with a threaded bolt, which I accidentally threw away, which I just thought was a spare part. I didn't realise it actually goes in here, and then you could use it as a monopod. So currently, I can't use it as a monopod, but that's all right because I've got heaps of monopods. But if you are looking, keep that thread because it will come in very useful when you want to use this as a monopod. But yeah, it's a pretty cool feature. As I might mention, this tripod is carbon fibre, so it's very nice and lightweight, but yeah, it's strong. And yeah, it's just super reliable. So I'll pop that back in there now. Alright, now we've got the monopod back in place, so now we've got our tripod back. Another thing is these rubber feet. These rubber feet are such a good idea, and they're on a thread. Now, I did try and get one of these out so in case I could replace them with some nice long spikes, but sadly you can't. They're just fixed in place. I think they're probably glued. I think if I tried too hard, I would probably end up breaking the leg, and I don't want to do that. So yeah, you've got these nice rubber feet. So these are great for when you're shooting indoors on surfaces where you don't want to scratch the surface, and you also want maximum grip, which is really nice. And they feel a bit tacky. In a good way, you know, it's going to give you that grip, and they are still reasonably firm, but not too firm that they're going to slide. So yeah, it's a really nice mixture. But when you're shooting outdoors, say on concrete or rocks or any slippery surfaces, then you can retract the rubber part of the foot, and then you've got your spikes. Now this is just a very short spike. It's probably about less than a centimetre in length. But what that will allow you to do is really connect better with the ground. So if you're doing like long exposures or you don't want any movement in the tripod, this is when you would use the spikes, because you've got a solid contact from the point where you mount your camera onto the tripod to the ground. If you were to use the rubber feet outside, then you're going to have a tendency to rock. There's a bit of flex in that rubber, and that will just cause the camera to have a mild shake. For photography, when you're doing long exposure or anything, that isn't what you want. So you want to use that spike whenever possible when outside, which is why I tend to leave them on unless I'm shooting indoors. Most tripods have it, but there's some tripods like the one I'm using to make this video, which is a KF Concept, which is just rubber feet, and I can't replace them whatsoever. Now another cool feature with these legs is they are super easy to use and don't require, you know, a whole load of twisting to get the legs out, like my KF Concept one there. Now, I'm not sponsored by them as well. I'm just a cheap one I bought off eBay once. All you need to really do is a quarter of a turn, and it just glides out effortlessly. It's just so good, and it clamps down really, really tight as well. Now, if you do want to clean your tripod legs for any reason, say if it gets a bit gunked up, It gets a bit dirty and it's really hard to use. But all you do is you undo this. So once backed all the way off, you can pull the leg out, and then you've got these plastic guides on the tripod. Now these are the things that have a tendency to pick up all the grime in the inside of the leg and all the wear, you know, from the carbon fibre on the inside. And this will be the reason why your tripod is sticking. It's no longer smooth. What you want to do is you want to take these off. They're very easy, but also very fragile, so be very careful with them. And all you need to do is get a bit of soapy water and a cloth and wipe these down. Sometimes it can be a bit more stubborn, so you just sometimes I tend to just leave them on the leg, so they're a bit more rigid and a bit more supported. Get in there with maybe a little toothbrush as well, and just really clean them down. And also make sure it is dry when you put it back together as well, because any moisture inside the leg will just accumulate even quicker, and also cause it to bind. So yeah, pretty cool. And I don't know where you would be able to get the parts. Maybe you might be able to contact the company. I don't know, be able to track them down. That is what I do worry about a tripod of this caliber, and not really able to find a social media link to them. Though I do feel like I did sort of find them out. Who knows, I might be able to find them out. I'll do a bit more research and I'll link to them. So yeah, you've got all these nice rubber feet. I do think over time these rubber thick parts will loosen up. It will detach from the metal. A bit of double-sided tape and everything will fix that, no problem whatsoever. We've also got this lovely soft padded grip here on the tripod, which is great when you don't want to, you know, grab a cold tripod. Now, carbon fibre doesn't get too cold, you know, it's just nice to be able to have that, and it's also a bit of comfort as well. And also, if you've got it on your camera bag or something, it's going to be something that isn't going to allow the tripod to slide down. You're going to be able to cinch it down and clamp it quite tight with that. Also, if you've got it over your shoulder, and you're walking with it, it's just a bit of added comfort to that, so it's not just carbon fibre on your shoulder and that could become sore over time. It's nice to have that little bit of added comfort there. Also, we'll go on to these legs. So we've got these nice big clips here. Get it out to the full length out of here. It locks in place, and then you're ready to push it up to its maximum angle so it can go to, which will get you nice and low to the ground, which I'll show you shortly. I'll just have to remove the center column to do so. So you can activate it by pushing from the back side of the leg, or you can do it from pulling at the front here. It's got a spring lock. As you slide down, it locks into place. Now, my big expensive tripod from Pro Media Gear doesn't do that. It doesn't have a spring. So there's been times when I've gone out on a shoot and I've shot down low, and then I bring my tripod up and I've forgotten to push those in. It's not until I've looked at my camera while it's doing an exposure while I'm waiting, I'd realise I didn't lock it in. It's really nice to have that little feature built in. I don't know why they didn't do it. So I'm going to actually take out the centre column now, just to show you how low this gets. It will get down to about that sort of height. And no, I'm not showing the full table. I don't know how far out I'm going, because I can't see what I'm doing with this camera that I'm recording on. But it gets down fairly low, which is quite nice. I would like it to get a bit lower, but I think that's probably when it would just start to put strain and stuff on these connections. So yeah, it's pretty nice and low. And the tripod does come with another bit of a center column, which is even shorter, so it doesn't actually allow it to protrude down here. So you can get really nice and low and get in those cool vantage points. Let's put that back together. Actually, that brings me on nicely to the center column here, which is just so well thought out and very strong as well, by the clamping mechanism. This operates by this right here. By turning that, allows you to loosen, to slide it up or down. I do find you've got to do it a bit more than the legs. Now, it does have a bit more of a tendency to grip a little bit, but I think it just really needs a good clean, to be honest. I haven't cleaned this tripod since I got it, and the top of my head just came off a little bit there. That does happen with this. I would like to put a little bit of Loctite or something on there, just to make sure it doesn't come undone. And it does get quite tall, as I'll probably show you over there very shortly. So yeah, we've got the nice locking mechanisms. We've gone over the legs. We've also got a nice little hook right here, which is great for getting your tripod more stable. Now, I wouldn't recommend putting your camera bag on that hook. Once you've got your camera up on here, and you've got this fully extended, and you put your bag on there, the bag will tend to sway in the wind, and that will give you added vibration to your image, which you don't want. What I recommend you do is somewhat what someone recommended me to do once, which is a really cool idea, which is why I'm sharing it with you, is using a couple of tent pegs, bang those into the ground with a little bit of rope, tie it to the hook, and then you've got a much better way of stabilizing your tripod. So this will bring all the weight equally down onto each foot and pull it down to the ground. Whereas putting your bag on there, if it has a tendency to sway and it gets really windy, I've had it where it's blown my tripod over because it just caused so much of a sway in the tripod and I wasn't there to support it at the time. But yeah, also we do have this nice little bubble level up here, which is very cool. It allows us to level up our tripod, which is great for if we're going to do any video work or if we're going to do any panos where we're going to do a nice large sweep. If we were to not level up our tripod, then it would you'd have this tendency for it to arc, and then you'd have this weird part where you'd have to either clone in areas using AI or something, or you'll just have to crop out the area that isn't usable and you'd lose a large section of your image. So yeah, it's a really nice feature to have that bubble level. I'm not sure how accurate it is, but if you are interested in maybe getting something a bit more accurate and you're just using this as a guide and then using something else like a leveling base, I did make a video on that. I bought this iFootage one, not sponsored or affiliated with them either. And yeah, that's a great addition. That's currently on one of my other tripods, which is coming over from Australia, which I hope to use again in the new year. So yeah, we've gone over the feet, we've gone over the nice legs and how easy they are to move out. We've gone over the grip here, the hook, how easy it is to actually get out that center column as well. That it also doubles up as a monopod, which is fantastic. If you don't throw away the bolt that it came with, I just thought that was a spare, as I said. So yeah, let's get into the height. So I will go over here and I'll just show you. Alright, so hopefully you can see me. And I will extend this tripod up fully. So as you can see, it's very easy to set up and very quick. So that is the top, that's the apex. I'm 175 centimeters or 180 centimeters tall, or 5'8" or whatever it is, or 5'9". So it's still a very reasonable height here at the apex, but it can go taller. And we will push it up to the max height, which I would say is comfortably there, which is about my head height, about 180 centimeters. Plus if you've got the bull head, which adds another about 10 centimeters, you've got 190 centimeters. And this is very stable. Now I did use my camera for a time lapse, and this isn't the camera I used my 5D Mark IV, but this is the camera I've got attached currently. And I was able to have that mounted up there, doing a time lapse for about an hour or so, and it was still very stable. Now there is going to be a little bit of flex in here, but as I have a play here, it's very minimal. It is really solid. I've used center columns on tripods before and it has a tendency to wobble, but this is just so solid. I think it's because this part of the apex here is just so thick, where other tripods have been quite thin. They try and make it thinner as possible and minimize weight and everything. But this tripod just does incredibly well. Now I don't have a bull head on there at the moment, which is why I'm holding it. But yeah, it's just so nice and stable. And when you do the leg test, pushing on the legs and just seeing how much of a flex there is, it's actually really quite firm for the price point of this tripod. So yeah, it does get up to a nice height and it will easily hold a camera of this caliber. This is a 1DC and it's got the 100 to 400, so this weighs about 4 kilos and it can easily hold this camera. So I'll just pop that down there and we'll pack this up so you can see how quick it is. So center column goes down, legs go up like that. And this is what I love about this tripod. It's super easy, super quick. That is pretty much everything on the tripod. I really wanted to do a video on this and I've been thinking about it for a while. I didn't want to do anything too long. I do tend to waffle on a little bit and I do try and trim that stuff out, but I also want to be informative as well and give you tips along the way. I don't want to just go over some of the key features of the tripod because that's very easy to do and very quick. but I just want to give you some extra insights and sharing some of my experience as well. So yeah, anyway, hope you enjoyed this video, and if you've got any questions, be sure to pop it down in the comment section, and I'll do my very best to get back to you. Anyway, I'm Simon, and I will see you on the next one. Okay, bye for now, and take care.